Doesn't matter if it's winter, autumn, or spring in the Twin Cities. If you go to a Minnesota football practice, and I've been to a bunch, the energy is constant. No wasted time or motion. It's a trademark of P.J. Fleck style. It's helped lead the Gophers to 6 straight non-COVID season bowl games and 6 straight wins in those postseason matchups. And we are excited now to take you to the Twin Cities for the big interview. Say hello to P.J. Fleck. P.J., always great to see you, first and foremost. How are things in Minneapolis these days?
Things are doing elite, Rick. Thanks for having us on the show on Masters weekend.
No question, one of my favorite weeks of the year. I'm actually going to get to golf with you in just 1 second, thanks to one of your former players, Tanner Morgan. We had Tanner with us earlier this week, and when we asked him to describe you, obviously said that you guys were and still are very close, but he used the term activator. What does that mean in your culture?
That's a great question. First of all, Tanner is one of the greatest players ever to play here, but more importantly, one of the better people ever to play here. And I think that's a credit to him. You know, I think people always look at me and they're like, oh, you're so motivating, or you are a motivator. I don't look at it that way. I love to surround myself with people who are very self-motivated first. And then I'm kind of like gasoline on the fire, right? That's the job, I think, of a head coach, is to activate the dream, activate where they want to go, and really hold them accountable for where they say they want to go. Because that's really the job of a coach. It's not my dream. I can't have a bigger dream for them than they have for themselves. But my job as a coach is to hold them accountable for what they say they want, whether that's in recruiting or when they come in my office and by put the goals and dreams in front of us. But you're kind of like the architect as a head coach, but the players are like the builders. And I think that's where the relationship goes hand in hand.
And here's where we get to the golf question from Tanner, because he said you're still a sneaky good athlete, and he used golf as an example, saying you can just grab a club every now and then and pipe one down the middle, some 280, 300. He actually said it's really annoying. Is there any exaggeration to that statement?
The 280, 300 after 5 shoulder surgeries, that's an exaggeration. I think he's being very kind, straight down the fairway. That's not what I usually do. But I am athletic enough to get myself around the golf course. Whether it's par 4, par 5, it's usually not the same, but somehow the ball goes in the hole within 4 or 5 shots. You know, sometimes the way it's drawn up, sometimes you got to scramble and be an athlete, be creative, and find your way around the golf course. So I do see a lot of the courses, though, when I do play. That's for sure.
P.J., Tanner was such a rock for your team. This year, you're trying to discover right now who that guy will be at quarterback. So what's the latest on that competition under center?
Well, I love where our quarterbacks are. I think Greg Harbaugh's doing a really nice job. Keegan O'Hara, our quarterback coach, is doing a great job too. And I think Greg's so creative. He's got a great offensive mind, and he does what our players are capable of doing. And all of our quarterbacks give us something a little bit more unique. I think everybody's more familiar with Drake Lindsay and what he was able to do in high school and winning a state championship, and, you know, the highly touted Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Arkansas. And him sitting behind Max Brosmer, I think, gave him a whole different perspective of not just what to do, but how to do it at the elite level. And I've never been around somebody who worked like Max Brosmer did. And that's a compliment, being around the Zach Terrells and the Tanner Morgans of the world. But this guy was on a completely different planet. And Drake and our other quarterbacks that were here got to learn from that. And I've watched the application from that, just how they've led the entire team, watching Drake mature through the process. You watch him process the information at the line of scrimmage. You just don't get the sense that he's a freshman. And I made this comment at a press conference yesterday, just saying that I think he's farther along than any quarterback I've ever had. Doesn't promise him anything, doesn't promise us anything, but it gives us the best chance if we continue to go on that trajectory. And he's taken a lot of what we're giving him and really, really handling it in an elite way.
Right now, the portal is such a huge piece for everyone, your team no exception, and surrounding the quarterback, those skill positions, and at the offensive line. I know you did a lot of work in the portal in those 3 rooms, running back room, receiver room, offensive line room, to make sure to get some experience and ability at those spots. How do you feel about where you are there?
Well, I feel like, you know, our depth will be our strength. I think everybody right now in spring and April is just, you know, you're looking at a 10-day portal window right in the crosshairs, right? And a few things are going to happen. One, you might have a little attrition, might happen to starters, might happen to depth, depending on, you know, what people are valuing. But you really kind of look at it. If you can have a deep football team, you can make a run. And I think everybody, you look at all those teams that made the college football playoff last year, all of them were really deep. And it didn't matter who you were. You look at the NCAA tournament in basketball right now, the 4 teams that made it, or to the Elite 8 at least, they were all deep. And any one of them could have won. All those games were really close. So I think depth is critical in college athletics right now, more than anything. And I think retention is really important. I love what we've done with the offensive line. I love what we've done at the running back position, especially with Darius Taylor helping us in the pass game, probably more than any running back we've ever had, being a natural high school receiver that transitioned into being a running back. We've added some really good depth there with Cam Davis and A.J. Turner. I really like where we are in the wide receiver room. I think what's unique about our wide receiver room is we might be deeper than we've been in the past with a lot of playmakers, but a lot of people won't be familiar with who they are until they actually go out there on Saturdays, which is going to be really, really exciting with the addition of Javon Tracy and Logan Loya and the people that are developing within our program right now. And then adding Drew Bibber, the transfer from Purdue, which was huge for us, to add our Jamison Gears and that whole crew at tight end. I just love where we're at. But as you know, Rick, as well as I do, ask me in 20 days, and then I'll let you know exactly what I feel about our team when we kind of get at the end of this portal.
Right, and then ask you again the day before the season opener, because we all know how much can change before then as well. But before we transition to defense, PJ, I do want to touch on one player who there's been a lot of hype around because he may be playing on both sides of the ball. At least we've seen Perich with that split-colored jersey designating both offense and defense. What's the mindset right now in a process that I know is very early on?
Well, we decided to give him the split jersey. Our head equipment manager, Brady Ganyu, is an unbelievable seamstress. This guy can put anything together. It looks like Nike did it, but we were just tired of putting our practices, as you said, Rick, move so fast. We had to pull a jersey off, put a jersey on. We had to put a yellow on, an orange, a vest, and I'm like, just forget about it. You know me, I'm not as patient as most at practice. So we just decided to go with the split jersey, and of course he loved it. Now he's got different color gloves, different color shoes. He wants his helmet on one side. You know, he's taken it to a completely different level, but he is a unicorn when it comes to an athlete. He's only been here since June. I think people forget about that. He hasn't even been through a spring practice. Coy hasn't. And I think this is our opportunity that if he did come early, maybe we would have been able to experiment more with it. But when he got here in June, it was just like all defense. Then we hit the season and we're like, all right, we're going to do the return game. Then we got into the season. I was like, all right, let's dabble in offense. This has been the whole offseason about designing what we can do for him to impact the game at the highest level, whether that's offense, defense, special teams, doesn't matter. And he's at a point now where I think he can handle all that and not just a gadget guy. We're talking about true investment, which has to be on his part too, mentally, physically, and emotionally. But from our coaching staff, we've been fully invested into that. Now, when you look at our playmakers across the board, including him, we're deeper than we've ever been.
PJ, you'll have an open spring practice next Tuesday. The first one was for Dinkytown athletes. This one, I understand, for the public to come and view. What do you hope they see? What do you want your team to get out of it?
Well, I just want the pressure of the situation of having game day environment of people watching them. Now, people come to all of our practices. They're just open to different types of organizations and groups, especially in the NIL portal world where, you know, you want so many people being able to watch your team to help the community, from the community to come help your football team as well. But our players are always playing in front of people, but really getting them into the fans. We've gone to the stadium a bunch. We're heading to the stadium on Saturday for another type live scrimmage. So getting them around that type of the game day environment as much as possible is critical than just the spring game. So we've done more of that, I think, than we ever have. And we didn't, you know, we don't have a spring game, which we've done in the past. We haven't done in the past. We've canceled it because of snow, brought it into the indoor a bunch. But, you know, right now it's just giving them as many game day type environments around them and a different environment all the time. I think it's been critical for our development in the spring.
All right, PJ, let's finish here. I know you have a few home games to worry about first at the start of the year, but you do have a non-con road trip to Cal. And your conference road games are in Columbus, Iowa City, Eugene, and then here at Wrigley Field. Listen, they're all lovely places to visit in the fall, but you don't think you could have worked out a harder road schedule for your team this season?
I don't think anybody in our conference has anything that you could say is easy. Not one home game, not one a road game. You can't say that anymore. I had a hard time saying it in the past. It's impossible to say it now. Everybody has challenges. There is no perfect schedule. Our league is an absolute monster. We have 9 conference games. I'm just honored to be a head coach in this league and have the competition at that type of level, that every single Saturday or Friday night, Thursday, whenever we're playing and wherever we're playing, you better bring your best football or you'll be run out of the stadium. And I think that's where it's been so competitive this spring, more than any other spring, because we're already preparing for that. We know it. But right off the bat with Buffalo at home and then going on from there, you look at anybody in the Big Ten schedule, anybody could beat anyone. And I think that's what the new conference was looking for. I think that's what the expansion was looking for in the SEC and the Big Ten. And it's such a fun league to play in.
P.J. Fleck, Gopher head coach. P.J., always great to catch up. Best of luck to you and the team with the rest of spring ball. Can't wait to see you go after that 7th straight bowl win this coming season. Thanks, P.J.
I appreciate it, Rick. Roll the boat, Sky. Go Gophers. Thanks.